The most powerful weapon of the 21st century is not a bomb. It cannot be seen with the naked eye. It's a sliver of purified sand, etched with patterns 1,000 times thinner than a human hair. It's a microchip, and right now, a secret war is being fought to control it. Two colossal powers, America and China, are locked in a struggle for the world's smartest dust. This isn't a trade war over soybeans or steel. This is a war for the future itself. The nation that controls the chips controls everything. Part 1. The American Miracle. Our story begins not in a government war room, but in a quiet laboratory in 1947. 3 American scientists at Bell Labs invent the transistor, a tiny switch that replaces bulky vacuum tubes. It was the spark. Soon after, engineers at Fairchild Semiconductor and Texas Instruments figured out how to put multiple transistors on a single piece of silicon. The integrated circuit, the microchip, was born. For decades, this was an American story. Silicon Valley was the undisputed center of the universe. Companies like Intel perfected the art of manufacturing, driven by an almost holy scripture known as Moore's law. The prediction that the number of transistors on a chip would double every 2 years. This law set the relentless pace of modern life, making our phones, computers, and worlds exponentially more powerful. But as the chips became impossibly complex, something changed. The cost of building a new factory, a fab, soared from millions to billions of dollars, and America made a fateful decision. We would focus on designing the most brilliant chips in the world, and let other countries handle the dirty, expensive work of actually making them. Part 2. The Unbreakable Chain. A new global order was born. A supply chain so intricate and so fragile, it's a modern miracle. Today, it works like this. The United States is the brain. Companies like NVIDIA, Apple, and AMD design the world's most advanced chips. But they don't make them. To make them, you need a machine built by only one company on Earth, ASML in the Netherlands. Their EUV lithography machine is the most complex device ever created by humans. It uses superheated tin droplets and lasers to etch patterns onto silicon. Each machine costs over $200 million and takes 4 jumbo jets to transport. Without ASML, the cutting edge of technology stops. And who operates these machines? Almost exclusively, one company on one tiny island, TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. TSMC doesn't design its own chips. It is a pure-play foundry, a master craftsman that builds the chips for everyone else. They have perfected the art of manufacturing at an atomic scale, making them arguably the most important company in the world. This was the pact. America designs, the Netherlands provides the tools, and Taiwan builds. It was the pinnacle of globalization. And it was China's greatest vulnerability. Part 3. The Dragon Awakes. For years, China was happy to be the world's final assembly line. They bought chips from America and Taiwan, put them into iPhones and laptops, and sold them back to the world. But Beijing saw the danger. Their entire technological future, from their military to their surveillance state, was dependent on foreign technology they couldn't control. In 2015, the Chinese government launched its Made in China 2025 plan. The number one priority was clear: achieve semiconductor independence. Beijing poured over $100 billion into creating its own chip industry, trying to replicate in a decade what took the rest of the world 50 years. They had some success with older, less advanced chips. But the cutting edge remained out of reach. They could design advanced chips, but without ASML's machines and TSMC's expertise, they couldn't build them. The unbreakable chain had become a choke collar. Part 4. The war begins. The first shot was fired in 2019. The target, Huawei. The Chinese tech giant was on the verge of dominating the global 5G market. The Trump administration saw this as a national security threat. They placed Huawei on a trade blacklist. But the killing blow was a new rule. Any company using American technology to make chips could not sell them to Huawei. Overnight, TSMC was forced to cut Huawei off. China's most successful tech company was starved of the advanced chips it needed to survive. It was a stunning demonstration of American power. The message was clear: we control the choke point, and we are willing to use it. The war was no longer cold. In October 2022, the Biden administration escalated. They didn't just target one company, they targeted the entire nation. New sweeping sanctions were announced, designed to freeze China's semiconductor industry in place. It banned the export of advanced American chips to China, banned the use of American tools in China, and even banned American citizens from working in China's chip industry. It was a declaration of economic war. The goal was no longer to compete with China, but to actively cripple its ability to advance. In response, the U.S. passed the CHIPS Act, a $52 billion plan to bring advanced chip manufacturing back to American soil. The era of globalization was over. The era of decoupling had begun. Today, the world watches as the consequences unfold. Starved of foreign tech, Beijing is doubling down, pouring hundreds of billions more into a desperate race for self-sufficiency. Companies like SMIC are pushing the limits, trying to build advanced chips with older equipment, a heroic but monumentally difficult task. The world is fracturing into two technological spheres, one led by America and one by China. The fragile supply chain that powered our modern world is being torn apart. And at the center of it all sits Taiwan, the small democratic island that China claims as its own territory. Control of TSMC is no longer just an economic prize, it is a strategic imperative. The war for the world's smartest dust has changed everything. It was a conflict born from a tiny switch in a lab, and it now threatens to reshape the global balance of power. The question is no longer who will innovate the fastest, but whose system will survive the fallout.